Time to check in with our lizard overlords. What are they up to? Well, this.
Is this the worst hour now?
Are we done our first hour?
Yeah, we're into our worst hour now.
Keep your expectations of this episode low. Starting the worst hour now, I feel like we've crossed into maybe not great content hour.
Welcome to our worst hour.
What do you think is the biggest, I think safety, the rise of the overhead recovery software, whichever one you're using, and the size of pavers. What do you think is the biggest change in 22 years? I think, those are three things for me that immediately, I've been doing this since I was 14 and I'm 53 this year, or maybe 15. Anyways, a long time. And originally pavers were all small and no one told me that I had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
That it was dangerous.
Yeah. And N95 mask. Yeah.
But now I look at, my son, sorry, go ahead.
No, finish.
Oh, my son started working with us last year. And, it's like you're cutting, get a mask. He wears a vest every day. He has high vis. He has safety boots. Don't think he's ever ridden anywhere in the bucket of the loader to get to the job site. No one rides in the back of the truck, and it just, I think about how different things are, probably because he's, my kid, from when I started doing it. But, I think that for me, probably safety is the biggest change.
I think professionalism is the biggest change.
Fair.
I mean, I can have high level discussions with people about sales process and cycle and how they're different in hardscape, in a hardscape forum, and have some really good discussions. I can talk about margin versus markup or overhead recovery or what I call direct and indirect cost, or what some people call direct cost and general conditions on a bid. High level discussions, having coached people on it for 35 years, having a degree in it, and have great questions and great discussions. I can, make the statements I just made about the buffoonery on social media and, 80% digital, 20% traditional, and traditional always drives digital, and QR codes with people, and have great discussions about AdWords and organic versus pay per click. I can have really high level discussions. And when it comes to building things, and it's funny because a lot of people say, well, maybe us hardscapers aren't good at pricing. We're not good at selling. We're not good at marketing, but we're good at building shit. And I don't know if that's the case. There's a lot of callbacks and problems and settlement and failure. And, we see them on all the forums. And I posted one on Hardscape Contractors of North America Facebook page today, a keystone wall that is not that old for as bad as it looks, right? I mean, that's a 85 to 110 year design life structure. And I think my phrase was not long for this world. So, but I can have some discussions about the pitch at the toe and top of the wall and why the industry specifies it and how they specify it, and get some great discussion. And that's very isolated. I'm not talking about, the embedded course or the base or the subgrade preparation or geotech. I'm just talking about the pitch at the toe and the pitch at the top of the wall, and why the industry recommends 4 foot of positive pitch away from the toe, 3 foot of positive pitch to a swale, to drains, out to and have some really good discussions with people that involve NDS and ADS drainage appurtenances at the top of the wall or something like that, or the scupper system that Pave Tool has carrying the water out. I think professionalism is the biggest change that people, when I used to, and I'm a studier, read 50 books a year, and I like thinking about things. I'm a thinker of things. Well, here's my guy, Socrates, right? The Socratic method of teaching, coaching, and his statue is over there. I'm Greek, so that probably makes sense. But I'm having great discussions with people that we weren't having 35 years ago. People wouldn't even come. I don't care. our bid price is $12 a square foot. Fuck off. So I think that's the biggest change is the professionalism in marketing, selling, pricing, and building things. We are way more professional than ever.
I agree with you. I think that's a great point.
Yeah,
I think it is
co-
substantially more professional. Yeah.
yes, but companies like Block, and there's a couple of good manufacturers that are in your market too, and I have a lot of respect for. And the company I work for, I have a lot of respect for them. But they're pushing the envelope with sizes of products and different types of retaining walls and feature walls, and some of which are home runs and some of which seem silly to me and are getting a little of attention. And I hope they die off. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think that's a good driver too, is that the permeable pavement industry doubles in consumption every year. And I've seen it for 35 years, from the Uni Echostein, ugly Uni group, permeable pavement, to products like Pure and St. Oxford and the Mica pavers that are, just is spectacular. I mean, just you pour muriatic acid on them and it doesn't hurt them. I mean, it's incredible what manufacturers like Block and others are able to do, and that is pushing the permeable pavement, is pushing the whole industry with additional. We're building a plant in South Carolina right now and working on the next one. But our teams are out looking at land to buy for the next one, and this one's not done yet because permeable pavement is growing so fast. It gives us the cash we need, and the demand's there to keep pushing, to keep growing, and to keep innovating with different products. Some the ones I mentioned were permeables, but it has definitely helped the segmental permeable pavement industry. And so I don't know how old all you guys are, but in my retirement, I hope to see every church parking lot, every mall parking lot, every strip mall, all segmental permeable pavements, every hospital parking lot. It's an economic and environmental catastrophe that it wouldn't be. The ability to take water, rainwater, carrying contaminants down through the joints, filter it, return it to the water table, and following God's initial plan, or if you're a God guy, or the water treatment train if you're an environmentalist, whatever. It has to be everywhere, and you got, it's not asphalt, it's not concrete that's going to curl and crumble. It's a segmental unit that's pre-cracked. The joints represent the crack. It'll 55 years plus. There's nothing else. It's the best pavement ever invented in world's history.
When I started in this business, probably similar time to you, the life cycle of a style of paver was forever. Like the run of a, like, we had one here called like Old Village Paver, and it was 3 sizes and they were small. It was like a 6x1 and a little 4x4.
Yeah, it looked like a Twinkie.
Yeah, a Twinkie and a square and a elongate. But these are tiny pieces. They look like kind of like cobble. And I remember like opening up catalogs and seeing the same stuff. Like year over year, there was no change.
Yeah.
On my side, I feel like a huge pusher of that constant is Teco, is you guys. You're constantly pushing that envelope, and products you made 5 years. Like, I can remember, like, we're doing a lift and relay right now. It hasn't been the greatest spring, and like, I can't match this paver that's maybe 3 years old. Because someone's like, okay, this life cycle's over, and I'm like, wow, man, that's. But I remember it being forever, and I just think that you guys, like, almost, how people like renovate their kitchens because they followed a style. I feel like you guys are almost there with backyards.
I don't know that we're there yet, but Mike, you saw a post that I made somewhere about product knowledge training, where I use post-it tabs and little post-it notes and paper clips, and I go through the catalogs and I teach everybody 3 to 5 key things about every product we made, why we invented them, where they fit in the marketplace, why you would specify them, where they work best. It's not my favorite class to teach, though I'm very proud of our products. But going through the catalog page at a time, day after day, and giving 3 to 5 bullet points and dragging it out of people because I don't give you the answer. That's the Socratic method of teaching. But you have to do it. We have 100 sales reps in North America now, maybe more, 110, and they're out teaching people our products, like from the beginning, again, because it's so innovative and new and so different and new. And then we get, we're actively recruiting people into our business now because people are making money in hardscaping. And people say, well, I want to do that. Maybe I have a landscape design degree, but I never did any landscape design because I ended up ringing the register in a retail giant somewhere. But now I get back into it. And so we're doing a lot of product knowledge training. I call PK training for people. And I mean, at the dealer, counter staff, outside sales staff, admin team, and the contractor, the builders of things, the designers, the salespeople, so that we can make people help people make a more informed buying decision. This is what's right for you, and here's why. Based on all the needs analysis in the sales cycle, the pre-qualification, the qualification, the direction questions that we ask to get them to tell us what's really in their heart for their family in their backyard area. And then here's the product that's going to meet it. You guys heard of REI, right? Recreational Equipment Incorporated. They're a consumer co-op. They sell camping equipment. You should look them up. You can get a membership to them. There's 100 stores in Canada and the US. REI, Recreational Equipment Incorporated. I worked there in college, and people would walk up to me. I worked in the boot department, and I have a bunch of really cool Italian hiking boots. I'll show you guys sometime, almost a collection of them. But they'd walk up with a bunch of boots and say, I'd like to try these in a size 9. And I'd say, okay. And I'd get all the boots from them. I'd go put them back up on the wall. We had a big wall of boots. And I'd tell them to sit down. And they're looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? I want all those boots in size 9. How could he possibly remember all those boots? Size 9. So I'd sit them down. I wouldn't tell them what I was doing. And I'd get my little chair and I'd measure their feet. And I'd start asking them questions about how much hiking they've done, where they're going, how long they go, how often they go, what size pack they're going to carry, what kind of pack, internal or external frame, a bunch of questions. And I'd go in the back, come back with a pair of socks and the boots I thought they should have. And I know how to lace a boot. I was taught by pros. And I'd put the right pair of socks on them, and I'd put the boots on them, and I'd lace, and there's ways to lace a boot, depending on the way your foot is shaped. And I'd go in the back. I'd grab an internal, external frame pack. I'd put the right amount of weight in it. We had weights in the back. I'd put it on them, and I'd hit. There was no cell phones back then. I'd hit the little timer on my watch, and say, okay, walk around for 30 minutes and come back. Don't come back for 30 fucking minutes. Don't come back in 10 minutes and go, I'll buy them. No, I'm not trying to sell you boots. I'm trying to get you the right boots, because where you're going, if you don't have the right boots, you're going to be in big trouble. And you're going to be really uncomfortable, and you're going to ruin a week or a month trip because you got the wrong boots. You need to walk around for a good 30 minutes. Go do it. And that's what product knowledge with a catalog like Techo Blocks does. It's what's the right boot, so that when I walk out of my house, if as my wife and I get older, my wife's getting younger, I'm getting older, we don't use the full sun as much. We sit out in the sun for a few minutes and we're like, okay, I'm hot. She's like, yeah, I'm hot too. Let's go out back into the shade. So you got to pick the right color for when you're going to use it. Not only just the house, not what's popular right now. If you're using it in the shade, you need lighter and brighter. You pick darker colors, it's dreary. So you gotta ask them all the questions. You got to measure their feet, and that's what product knowledge training is. Let's get you something that you're going to walk out of your house having spent 125 grand and go, this has changed my life. My health has improved. My anxiety has decreased. My kids are happy. 2 years ago, we did a sauna installation with C. Vargas Construction in Delaware, rock star hardscape guy, putting in a heated element to the sauna. It's an Airbnb. He keeps in touch with the owners, and he says they want to buy more homes and convert them to this health and wellness backyard. He goes, people are losing their minds. The cold plunge, the sauna, the plunge pool, the wood fired oven that, you're cooking food at 800, 900, 1,000 degrees. It's healthier for you. That whatever shit the government puts in our food, it burns it off. It's awesome. And he goes, people are they're addicted. They're like, I want to buy your house. He's like, the owners of the house. And he's like, it's not for sale. We're going to buy more of them. We're going to do more of this. I think we got to teach people about our products so that we can continue to have that level of professionalism and keep the buffoonery to a minimum and keep the fly by night. And now the economy is going to be booming. It's my opinion. I don't want to make anyone mad or anything, but economically speaking, every 50 years is a boom, and we're on that cycle. From Calvin Coolidge in the Roaring '20s to Reagan in the '80s to now, and we're going to get a bunch of bad people in our business who are going to go out and lie to people and not do what they said and build poor things because people have money to spend and there's not enough contractors to build it all. So we're going to have to fix some of that in the future. In the short term, let's educate as best we can, dealers, you guys, and then we're going to have to do some cleanup on aisle 7, probably in 3 to 5 years would be my guess.
I think that I find it weird the level of people's accepting of poor hardscape work. Like the whole, like we're doing one right now where there's a 40 mil stone in the driveway.
Oh,
Like, and it's like, I'm like, okay, well, like this isn't working for a variety of reasons. But the first reason is you're using a large format 40 mil stone. Like, this isn't a 4x8. This is a big pieces. And I said, this is a problem. And the accepting of those kind of things, and when it's wavy or when it's falling apart, or the first job we did this spring was redoing a driveway, and they were like, yeah, we had it done 6-7 years ago, and we got some good life out of it. I don't think that's the case. Like, I don't think you got good life out of it, but it's just people's, in general, society's acceptance of that is crazy to me. But maybe it's because general society isn't. If your kitchen was falling apart after 5 years, people would be pissed.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not pissed now. What? I don't know.
I don't get it either. But I don't know how often I encounter people all the time with really shitty hardscape work that are kind of like, yeah, cool, let's redo it again. I'm looking at it going, I don't know if I'd hire me to redo this again after it looks like this. Like, not because they think I'm incompetent, but because I just don't know if I'd want a piece of that industry again. I'd be thinking, like, maybe I should get some impressed concrete or some, like, I don't know. It amazes me, people's just acceptance of it. And I think that perpetuates people doing shitty work because there's a wide spectrum of the population that isn't even pissed when their work is shit that they get done.
Yeah, I think, you had some funny sayings earlier about a shovel and a pen, but I tell people I'm too poor to buy cheap things. When I buy, I own a number of 1911 pistols, which were invented in 1911, but they're my favorite, and they fit my hand, and That's probably what we shot when we were together. The Magnum PI pistol that everybody, if you remember that TV show from the, I think the 80s or the 90s, but I buy the best ones because I use them and I enjoy them and I want to get better at shooting. When I go sporting clays, I shoot a Beretta A400. It's a multi-target automatic shotgun. I'm trying to get better at it. I shoot with guys that are better than me, and I want to be better. And I don't want to, be following a target and have, the balance off and the sights not aligned with my eye because of where the stock is. It's got to fit. It's got to shoot clean, and it's got to be balanced. And it's going to cost me more money. And I get it. I save my money. I work hard. I save my money. And then I, tell my wife we just bought an A400 Beretta shotgun. and it'll be our daughter's one day when I pass away. She'll inherit it with a lot of other things like Jeeps and stuff. But we should have a mentality in North America that we're too poor to buy cheap things. Buy quality. Buy it once. Enjoy it. I don't go to any restaurant. I check on Yelp and I look up what the ratings are. And if I know somebody in town, I call them and go, where should I eat? Because I'm just on the road sometimes 200 nights a year. And if I'm away from my family, I want to eat good, quality, healthy food as much as humanly possible. And it's just worth a few extra minutes for me to do my research, just as opposed to pulling into the first gyro stand, a little Greek humor there, but the first gyro stand I see and saying, oh, that was terrible. Next stop, because that will catch up to you. And I don't want to do that. I don't know why that is. I hope it comes to an end. I hope it comes to an end in our industry. I hope that as we get better at selling things, sitting at a kitchen table and walking people through the horizons of a segmental retaining wall, permeable pavement, overlay, raised patio, steps, whatever it is that we're building, that the next person that walks in the door is shut down. Like they know the vocabulary. They know, if you tell them, write down type S hydrated lime, write that down. If they don't bring that up, you have clay soil. 95% of the Earth's surface is clay soil, where there's soil, not water, but it's clay soil. You're going to need it. If they don't even bring it up at the end of that sales call, ask them, how would they chemically amend the soil subgrade? Because you have to. Clay looks like a bunch of dinner plates stacked upside down. As soon as it gets water in there, positive, negative attraction. It's like marbles. Everything's rolling in every direction. How could a pavement with a 4 or 6 inch base or an 8 or 10 inch base in a climate that has a 4 or 5 foot frost line survive? It couldn't, unless you have uniform expansion and contraction and uniform bearing ability. If you have those things, it's because you use type S hydrated lime, a gradation amendment of 3/4 inch clean stone, a quality woven or non-woven geotextile to spec, all the way up the horizon. And if they understand, then maybe we can move some of these guys along to, shoot mulch out of a cannon or something. I don't know, whatever they want to do.
Mulch. I'm always amazed at people's. One thing I have noticed from when I started my first business, we did lift and relay and we did repairs because it's a low investment style of business. And we didn't have to put out a lot of money. Buying some back then it was natural screenings, but whatever. But you'd always come up on these houses and you get all these calls where all the pavers and stuff were rotting and falling apart and exploding. And honestly, like now, the driveway we just demoed, the pavers were great. There's nothing wrong with them. Obviously, the construction of the driveway was a fuck show, but the pavers themselves were great. And they just didn't like the style of them. They wanted them to go. We used blue 80, textured blue 80, because Nancy don't like the smooth stuff.
I like Nancy.
Yeah.
Yours and mine. Yeah.
Yeah, she likes textures and yours. Uh, but the pavers themselves that we loaded in our bin truck and we hauled away, they were in theory perfectly structurally fine. And that is a huge change from when I used to rip up stuff 15 years ago. Almost every paver was in half and destroyed. And I think that you guys raising the bar on the quality of pavers is one of the reasons is that kind of stuff. People are changing pavers now because they don't like how they look, not because they're not functional anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the clean and protect industry will change some of that because, it's still a concrete paver. There's still aggregate in it, as opposed to a clay brick that's clay all the way through. Now, clay paver takes a tremendous amount of energy. So if you're an environmentalist, that's a big negative. Stone takes a tremendous amount of energy to get out of the ground, versus us, which is naturally occurring aggregates and sands and cement made in a clinker. But over time, a paving stone will show aggregate. If you, on initial installation, I think this is a problem in our industry. A lot of people tried sealing things, had a bad outcome, maybe a bloom or but I'm not talking about sealing. I'm talking about protecting, breathable, penetrating, water, mineral, salt repellent products that are virtually invisible, and really enhance the weathering stability of units. So you install a nice driveway. There's no stains on it. I mean, it looks like a nice driveway. You, for lack of a better phrase, you send Stevie Wonder out there with a pump sprayer and a gallon of salt guard, and he fills it up. And you guys in the GTA, you fucking love your rock salt. I'm more worried about people slipping and falling on rock salt than ice in the GTA. But fills up that pump sprayer with salt guard, hits the driveway, no cleaner, no nothing, just salt guard right on brand new pavers, just laid, just blow them off, joints are full, salt guard it. And do that every 3 to 5 years or 5 to 7 years, depending on the environment. You guys have a harsh environment. Further south you go, 7 to 10 years. Reapply it. You're going to find that people are going to like, wow, this looks really good. I really like this. It looks clean. And when it rains, the majority of the dirt and debris will be gone. It won't be in the pores. It won't be in the joints because it's protected. It has a natural repellence to it. So I think the clean and protect industry will help. People say, I am very happy with what I bought, and I'm going to get new when I move to my new house. And people move in bad economy every 7 to 10 years, and in a good economy, 11 to 13 years. And when they move, they're going to be like, we had Blue 80 slate textured because Nancy likes it. We like it. But this time we're going Everest, because we're going to change because of the way it's manufactured with the slate textures on angles and really super cool product. But it's a change. I think you're going to see people make those changes on the next house. Here's a good example. Even, I don't know, 25 or 30 years ago, traveling to Germany, you pick up the yellow pages, which don't exist anymore. And there was hundreds of people that all they did was remediate, clean, protect hardscapes. That's all they did. They didn't lay them. That they cleaned, they protected, they resanded the joints, they fixed the edges. On to the next one. Hundreds of people. That's what they would do. And there's not that here. Even in GTA, a big market, in Toronto, Montreal, big market. I know one guy in Montreal that's all he does. One guy. I mean, as many pavers have been installed in Montreal on and off the island, that it's not enough. That I could go in and clean your area if it were dirty, and that's an important distinction. You don't need to use a cleaner, even if it's light duty, like a light duty concrete cleaner. If it's clean, if visually you're looking at it, and we're all standing around going, looks good to me, looks good to me, looks good to me. Well, why are we cleaning it then? No, then don't. Let's send Stevie Wonder out or with a pump sprayer and salt guard, or siloxane PD concentrate or color enhancer or SL100 or whatever. I mean, something we get up in dollar value there, but you can get a pristine looking driveway, walkway, patio, pool deck, retaining wall, coping with a good clean and protect, and having a regular visit to that client saying, let me make sure that every 3 to 5 years I'm coming back. We're going to check it. If the pavers are still water repellent, dump water on them. Water's repelling. It's beating. See you in 3 more years. Some kind of, you're going to see that change. But obviously we want to sell you pavers. We're a paving stone manufacturer. And we have great new retaining walls with wood texture and terrazzo texture and all kinds of great stuff. And we want people to consider using some of them. A lot of people say good, better, best. I like best, premium, super premium. You make more money, you're a little bit older. Maybe that Ford Explorer isn't the right one anymore. We're going to go Range Rover. You know what I mean? Okay, good. You want to do that? We got it. We got the premium. We got the super premium for you when you're ready. But clean and protect is going to be a big part of our business. And you're going to hear a lot about it, more about it from us at Showcase. You've heard about it for the last, 5 or 10 years, pretty regularly, but it's going to be a section. It's going to be a whole section of our shows in the future.
Speaking of a topic that you guys have, since I've been attending Showcase, been talking about open graded base. I heard that CMHA just last month, after a 3-year study, approved open graded base. Your thoughts on that, Pete? I feel like did Teco push for that for many years for them to get that done, or?
Yeah. We're definitely a driver.
I thought so.
Yeah. And even if we're behind the scenes driver and we're out talking about it, we touched 43,000 people in 4 months, 43,000 professional hardscapers in just 4 months. It's, and we're talking about these things and we're respectfully aggressive. Like I was talking about the CMHA's talking about the use of a geotextile fabric between the soil subgrade and the column of clean stone. And they backed off that when the column of clean stone grows to 3+ feet. So we didn't, I didn't go sit down with Bob Thomas, who's the head of the CMHA, who I could, and said, here's what I want you to change. We're out there with contractors learning from you guys, the best of the best, and studying and learning and traveling the world and interacting and coming back and saying, here's what we're doing going forward. And, if permeable pavement works on open graded stone, open grading bedding layer, what would the difference be if there was sand in the joints? And if you look at the cost, this year we use non-woven geotextile fabric, which, even in Canadian dollars, I don't know Canadian dollars as well as American dollars, but in the US, you're talking, 10 cents a square foot for a 4-ounce non-woven geotextile with a grab tensile strength of 110 pounds and an AOS of 70 to 100. And putting that intermittently into the base makes it stronger. It's engineered earth. I mean, it's a non-biodegradable stabilizer that has filtration characteristics as well. We don't have to dig to China anymore, and that makes it stronger. So anytime that an industry person or one of the gurus, would come to us and say, well, you can't promote that. Well, we do permeable pavement driveways. We do permeable pavement industrial parking lots that see easel truckloads of 80,000 pounds equivalent single axle load truck. We're just doing the same thing with a polymeric sand and joint. You know what? If you don't mind, we're going to throw a layer of geogrid, biaxial geogrid in the middle of the base. You know what? We're going to take it a step further and put a non-woven geotextile or woven, in between the base and the bedding layer to give it that much more strength. And in the CMHA's class on permeable pavement, they don't even have a section on geotextiles till recently, and geogrids and biaxial geogrids. And, I like learning from the best of the best in the industry in the geosynthetics and the clean and protect and the lighting and the tools and the equipment. And I'm unashamed. I'm unembarrassed. I'm ready to show my ass. If I look like an ass at the end of that meeting, well, then so be it. But I'm going to ask you every question that comes to my mind. I'm going to ask you every question. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to write it down. I take lots of notes. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to call you at night and bother you. I'm going to read about it. I'm going to study it. I'm going to call experts from around the world. And in the end, there's a small group of us at Teco, Alex Cadu and hardscape mechanic Rick Bischoff and Mike Day and Jeff Finley, dive into hardscapes in Detroit. He's a rock star. Peter Wachalewski, the concrete cowboy up in the GTA, is awesome. Tyler Walsh out in Western Canada, awesome. And we just go at it. And sometimes I own a little house here where I hide cars from my wife so she doesn't get mad at me when I drag home junk things. And we just go over there and we drink beer and argue with each other for a couple of days. And we come up with a plan. Here's how we're going to help. And in the end, we when we're done, we say, this is what we're doing. And we have a unified front going into that show to push. And it may be pushing the industry forward. It may be pushing the lighting industry forward, or the geotechnical industry forward, or the hardscape tool industry forward. A good example, Pave Tool Innovators now has a through wall drain system for walls that encapsulate fire pits and water features. And I think that a small part, but Teco and our education department was a small part in, them coming up with that solution and saying, using wheat rope or corrugated plastic or gapping the block so that the water trapped between the sitting wall and the fire pit can get out. Done. We have a nice lid. We have a nice pipe. We have a nice scupper out to the environment. Done. And we, again, a small part. I'm not taking any credit from Pave Tool Innovators. Those are great people, great company. But we're pushing. we want this. This is a problem. We need a tool for this. We need a fabric for that. The green fabric was another one. This year, it's literally green fabric that builds up microbes. How cool is that?
I remember you taught me a ICPI course 15, 20 years ago, something like that. And I was stoked. Like, I was super motivated and everything when I left there. You're great at motivating people. How do I keep my guys, middle-aged guys that show up every morning, dragging their feet, great workers, great installers? How do I keep these guys motivated?
It was in the discussion on pricing. I think first they got to be paid very well, above industry standard.
Yeah,
and that means you got to do the math to make sure you have to have incentive programs. That's in the what I call labor responsibility. A lot of people call labor burden. One of my favorite things is gift cards. I used to give out cash when I ran a hardscape company. And I found people were buying cigarettes or beer or whatever. And it was just and no, that's fine. I don't smoke, but I drink plenty of beer. And I get that. That's fine. But I didn't want it to be about that. So it was always, gift cards to Whole Foods or gift cards to bookstores, Chapters or whatever the bookstores are, and to encourage people to kind of do it, sending them to classes. And feeling the best analogy I can give you, they took a group of seamstresses in New York and they said, we're going to do a test. We're not going to tell you what we're testing, but we're going to do a test. You just keep working like normal. Don't worry about anything. So every day that the women would come in, they would turn the lights down. And they turned the lights down so far every day that in 15 days, it was almost dark in there. And it didn't matter that they turned the lights down. Production went up. And so they brought them all back in. They said, listen, don't do anything different. We're going to do another test. And don't do anything different. Just do everything the same as you normally do. Go about your day like normal. You don't even need to know there's anything going on. So they start turning the lights up. They turn the lights up so bright, you almost had to wear sunglasses. And production still went up. It went up because they felt recognized. They felt important. They felt that they were part of something, not because it was brighter or darker. So when you're giving out a gift card for $25 for Whole Foods or Chapters or Borders books or whatever it is that you're doing to incentivize them and reward them for keeping the job site clean or putting the tools away, whatever it is, it's a recognition. Sending them to classes. What's your next step? My next step is to be in accounting. I want to be in accounting. I want to get out of the field, and let's start sending you to accounting classes. Let's start getting you we're talking about safety with Mike a few minutes ago. Just let's get you OSHA. I know you don't use OSHA up there, but still you can access OSHA 10-hour and 25-hour and 50, and get you the Mason Contractor Association of America in Chicago has silica certification courses. I used to be an instructor many years ago, and I don't know why I let that lapse. I probably should get back on that. But just getting people, like picking someone and saying you're in charge of safety, and we're going to pay you a little bit more money, but you're in charge. You're going to pitch me on what you're going to pitch them, and we're going to do it every 10 days. So every 2 weeks, every 5, you're going to do that, and this is your responsibility. So you are, a team member, yes, but you're in charge of safety, and you have the authority to stop the job, to call the project manager, to call the owner, whatever it is, make them feel. One more thing is Dave Ramsey. I'm a big Dave Ramsey guy. He has a book called Entree Leadership, which is creating the entrepreneurial spirit in every member of your team so that they feel that, because no one's ever going to work as hard as you do as the owner of your company. Yeah. It's insane to think that they would, but we want to get some of that entrepreneurial spirit in them. So they're excited and they're inspired and they're rewarded, and they get, when I give people a book, I got a little stamper. It says, Pete Belog from the desk at Library of Peter Beloglu. That's my last name. And I stamp the book and I give it to them, and I take my little Paver Pete handwritten notes and I put it inside of it. And when I give them out, and it's not all the time, and I think through them, people will say, wow, he, as busy as he is, he took the time to do, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but this is the kind of thing, the book, the note, the gift card, the recognition. What was it from The Office? The Dundies, the Dundee Award. What I mean? Something fun that they say, wow, I'm not leaving here. This is great. We have a camaraderie. We eat together. We work together. We joke around with each other. Pray together. I think probably would be a good one. Whatever it is that you do prayer wise, but I'm a member of a prayer group within the industry, 2 of them, and I've seen people come out of their shell and they're like, well, I didn't know that about you. Well, you never asked. And now that you're asking, our relationship's that much stronger and better. And if you called me and told me you needed help, I'd be on a plane or in my truck. And when you get that kind of a feeling, that kind of a caring culture, I don't think anyone's going anywhere, and they're inspired to be there every day. I hope that's a good answer.
Yeah, we have a problem with toxic work culture to the point where some guys can't even see each other in the morning. They dislike each other so much.
Let me tell you one more book. I'd go find Charles Vanderkooy's book. He only wrote one. It's probably on eBay or Amazon somewhere. And there's a chapter called Egg Sucking Dogs. Read that chapter because he's right. And once you get rid of the egg sucking dog, it won't be a toxic, because you cannot have a toxic home. You can't have a toxic church. You can't have a toxic workplace. That is unacceptable. So read the egg sucking dog chapter and then call me. Hey guys, can I bow out now? Is that okay?
Absolutely. You're
Absolutely.
good, Peter.
Pete, where can our audience go find out more about you?
Well, you can follow me at Paver Pete One on Instagram and Facebook. The Real Paver Pete on X. Yes, X still around. We should be active. Mike, you were one of the first ones. We all got to be back on X and spreading the word. And on LinkedIn, if you want to see some technical and more thought out things about coaching, I put a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. So be happy to hear from you guys.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Pete.
Pete.
Yeah,
Thanks,
really
Pete.
appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, there's Interlock Ian in the
How
Interlock
much
flesh.
do you have
Ian.
to pay for that?
Yeah, it was. It's gonna take our entire National Heavy Equipment Show budget for that.
Yeah. Our National Heavy Equipment Show budget is used up.
That was
That was
great.
good. That was exciting, Mike.
Yeah, I did want to put that out there that like when I was starting How to Hardscape, I had like a list of a few people that I wanted to reach out to, and Pete was on that. And I was actually on a site, and I sent him an email. I'm like, "Hey, I'm starting this thing, How to Hardscape. Would love to have you on as a guest." He replied within like 5 minutes, like, "Give me a call." Called him up, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this podcast, just starting out. This is what I'm doing." He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I was like, "Oh, great. Yeah, when do you want to do it?" He's like, "Right now." So I hopped on my laptop, and that was the very first How to Hardscape episode. And yeah, I've always been appreciative of Pete to give me his time there. And even with this, I messaged him at the beginning of the week, said, "Need you on the show?" And he said, "Yeah, let's do it."
Right on.
The first time I encountered him was at a showcase, and he put his now this was man like 10, 15 years ago now. He put his business card on every single person's table. Like
Hmm.
I remember I was like, man, this guy is fucking nuts. The amount of people he just put his business card out to, they were on every table. And then when I think the first time I met him, I was not in an amazing place in my life. I had a lot of things going on that we've talked about lots of times on here, and I found him to be a like someone who was proud of being a construction worker, you know, and doing hardscape stuff. It wasn't like, oh, you're the land. Like, so I sent him an email just saying, hey man, I appreciated your time and I appreciate what you did because I had his fucking business card. He wasn't just a guy speaking out front, and he emailed me right back, and then I've been, friends with him ever since. He's an interesting guy, and he always gives everyone his time. So
Yeah. Here's the book he's referring to there, Chad. Well, it's not showing up.
Looking at-
The Complete Business Manual.
I don't know if I'm smart enough to read that one.
Oh, that's
you
not
need to
showing
go
up.
on another vacation so you can read it on the plane.
Yeah, that I can
It's a
do.
good reason to go away.
Yeah.
One of the things I did this spring, which I actually was much harder than I thought it would be, was all we have a lot of long-term people that have been with us a long time, right? And I value them a lot. But I really felt like I had never gone to those people and said, "Hey, I value that you're here, and I appreciate you." And I went to all of them and I said that, and it was far harder than it should have been. Just as a, I don't know, it's just uncomfortable. Like I don't like. Well, I know, and I'm like, okay, but do you know? Like I've never said it. Like, do you really know that I appreciate you and everything that you do? And they're like, yeah, no, we know. And I'm like, okay, well, now it just was harder than I thought it would be in the spring to do that. I was trying to make sure people knew I appreciated that they were around. So, but yeah, that was a good episode, Mike. That was all Mike's doing. I had nothing to do with it. Chad had nothing to do with it. So,
For sure.
I like the surprise guest idea. You guys don't know who's
surprise
coming
guests are
on.
great. Yeah,
The
that
only
was
thing is we
amazing.
can never surprise you, Mike.
I know. I would like a surprise every once in a while.
Yeah, maybe we'll surprise you at the next heavy equipment show or at King of Prussia.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'll tell you one thing, Pete's good for is his word. If he says he'll set it up, he'll fucking set it up. Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah. All right, you guys good?
Yeah, I will say one thing. Zeppa's landscape, Chad, we've been at his shop the past two times in H&A. His whole entire shop area burnt down.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah, if anybody wants to follow Zeppa's Landscape on Instagram, he's posted all the Instagram stories. Reach out to him, send him your love because that is devastating. That entire,
Holy shit.
yeah, that whole greenhouse, a lot of his shop got completely burnt down.
Wow.
Wow,
It's awful.
that is totally shitty.
Yeah,
And
great
on that
guy, like
shitty
an
note,
amazing guy. Yeah.
yeah, he seems super good. I haven't met him like you guys have, but he always seems like he's such a nice guy.
Mhm.
That's his shitty thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
HNA won't be the same.
No.
I'm assuming he's based out of wherever H&A is.
Yeah, he's right outside of Louisville. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Shitty.
that is shitty. All right. On that note, that's the end of the episode, Mike.
Thank you for watching. Yeah, those people run the world. They're so impressive. What a bunch of freaks.